Yes, sir. Here we go. Yeah, well, we're starting. Yep, so here we are. Yep, and this live stream is going to be about, well, a bunch of topics. But mainly, control freaks. Control freaks and, yep, control freaks, truthers, opinions. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that for a while today. So I figured I should come up here and talk a little bit about this because, out of the so-called truther community, we have truthers other content producers who I've watched over the years, and including myself. Okay, I'm not separate of what I'm talking about. Okay, but what I'm going to talk about a little bit when it comes down to this, what I've watched, what I've witnessed throughout my life, when it comes to ego, when it comes to control freaks, and it comes to opinions. Okay. And for content producers up on YouTube over the years, I do believe the combination of somebody who's controlling, who doesn't want to accept other people's opinions, has been the biggest divide in the truther community for the content producers. Seems to me you get content producers working together. This is what I've witnessed over the years, what I've been on YouTube, okay? And you wind up with conflict over opinions. Because most people out here don't want to accept somebody else's opinion or attacks that person over their opinion when they claim to be working with them or friends. Because they don't agree upon something, instead of learning how to agree to disagree, that's when one of the biggest problems that I think I've witnessed across the board. It's really played into demise when it comes to TFL and the radio show and the feuds that's taken place between me and other people online. It really has. See, I guess I'm a realist. What I come up here and talk about, I'm dead serious about. I'm real about. I'm not putting on a persona, a show. And I'm not going to be fake. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say how I feel. Why I feel, why I feel. Okay? And most people who leave comments, or one time YouTube used to have an email, or, come up, make a video against somebody, don't never talk to the person they're attacking one time. And they attack that person most of the time based out of opinion. Sure is. It's based out of opinion. And it's the opinions of people that causes the great divide, especially among content producers. Now, I'm talking about this because it should be talked about just like ego needed to be talked about. I looked around me online and I didn't see anybody talking about ego. And I don't recall ever seeing anybody in the truther community around here talking about ego to begin with. I just haven't seen it. Now, I'm not saying somebody hasn't, but I haven't seen it, okay? And matter of fact, I was talking with Dave on the phone yesterday, and he's been around, he's been watching me since pretty much since I come online. Maybe not right after I come online, but he's been around for a long time, at least since 2007. He's been watching me. So he's been watching me for a long time now. And him and I had a good talk yesterday, and he also hasn't seen anybody do a video on people's ego. Okay, I did the video on ego because of what I've witnessed in my personal life. On job sites was the main thing. Okay, then of course here online. But I've witnessed this people's attitudes, people's behaviors. When their ego becomes inflated, people don't even know they're doing it, or they know they're doing it, but they will never own up to it. Never. It's a lot like jealousy. When somebody's jealous of somebody, they won't admit it in a million years. Their behaviors will reflect it. They will do things totally nuts against the person they're jealous of for no reason at all other than their jealousy. And then they'll deny that they're jealous. Now, I've seen this over and over in my life, and this is just what it is. And unfortunately, people with high egos that flate up, their ego gets the best of them. They do the exact same thing as a jealous person, but in a way they're actually worse. They become like the people they speak out about. If they're a truther speaking against NWO or what have you, they become like the person or the people they're speaking about, like the elite. Yeah, they do. And a lot of them fail to see that they're acting just like the elite. They're acting like the people they're speaking against. And unfortunately, that's where ego takes you because it's like power and greed. It corrupts. Now, I talked about this in pretty detail, I think, already. So I think you do understand this. But what I'm talking about here goes into this because a lot of this is like in the truther community with content producers. One of the things I've noticed that seems to cause conflict is the opinion. Yeah, it is the opinion. Because somebody just knows their sword, especially if you're a content producer with ego and you're working with other people that have ego, or even somebody that don't got ego. Okay? The ones with ego, they're content producers, and I've actually witnessed this. I've seen it. Okay? I've watched it. Okay? With my own eyes. In the years I've been doing this, I've had like 4 or 5 videos that went viral. Absolutely went viral. I think the biggest viral video I ever had was the Boston bombing. The one before, and then the other biggest would have been the guy that got trampled on at Walmart when they opened the doors on a Black Friday. Okay, and then of course TFL, the name itself, went viral. But I've never let my head swell up. It was never ever about fame, and I've got very low ego, so it didn't affect me really too much. But somebody that's ego driven, they get a viral video. You're talking with this person or know this person because I've witnessed this. You watch them change. They don't even know they're changing, and you actually watch them change. And the changes are subtle. And they come on, well, actually pretty quick within a couple, 3 months from the time their viral video hits. Their ego's already got them to a point where they're looking down on people around them, even the friends they were talking about. And of course, they're not going to admit that's what they're doing, but that's exactly what they're doing. And they play these people for dumb because they already know they're that smart because of their ego. And they're actually not that smart. And the people they're playing for dumb a lot of times see right through them. And when you're somebody who's been doing this a long time and witnessed this lots and lots of times, you watch this and you see it and you recognize the behavior changes. You recognize the facial expressions, the body language, especially if you've got any age on you. You recognize their demeanor and you realize that their head is puffed up and they're looking down on you. And there ain't nobody that likes being looked down on by another human being who believes they're better than somebody else, smarter than somebody else, more intelligent than somebody else. Okay? And that's why even when I did the video on opinions, I gave you that up in the corner from that article. But what was it? I'd had to look again. Okay, for the exact quote. Okay, but I gave you that. No, we're not going to open that. No, cancel. You gotta don't mind me. I've got this little thingy going on here I gotta get rid of. There we go. And so, but that's why I brought that up. Okay, so because the situation is simple. You do have 55, right here, 55% of Americans think they are more intelligent than the average American. Now, that's actually true. All you got to do is pay attention to what's going on around you, and you see that type of behavior going on. You really do. And so, yeah, I figured this is all topics that need to be talked about because ego inflates up a person's head. They become corrupt. They become like the very people they're speaking against, and they'll deny it. If you ask them, they will deny it, and deny it, even if they're a so-called truther. Okay, and I'll say so-called. And then, of course, the opinion and the control freaks. Because in society we have control freaks, do we not? Isn't that what the elite are? They're psychopathic and they're control freaks. Isn't this what more the majority of all narcissist people become? Very controlling. Yeah. Controlling of others. And a good one is this. When you know you're talking with somebody that has control issues, this is one of the ways you'll know. Especially if you're a content producer on YouTube and you're producing videos and they're producing videos. This is how you'll find out they are a control freak. If there's two content producers working, whether it's on YouTube or doesn't matter, on all the different video sharing sites, Daily Motion, just doesn't matter where you're at. If you get two content producers working together and one of them has controlling issues, likes to control other people, they're not going to say this and you're not going to know this about them when you first meet them. But you will know it eventually because, see, what will happen is you'll make a video and the other person, the one that's having control issues, won't agree because of an opinion. Okay? Because they don't know how to agree to disagree, but they'll tell the whole world that you need to learn how to agree to disagree. In their videos, they will tell the world this. Okay? They will push that message onto others, but they don't even practice it themselves. And they prove that because you do a video and then they will come at you behind the scenes and they will attack you for making a video based on they didn't agree with something you said. As if they have a right to dictate what you say in your video. As they have a right to judge you by what you say in your video. Though, however, if you done that to them, they would lose their freaking mind, flip out, and they'd be angry immediately. How dare you? Fuck you. I'm not changing a thing about myself. This is the attitude, excuse my language, but this is exactly the attitude you'd get. Okay? From them. Because, see, they already know that they're correct because they're a control freak and you're going to do it their way, whether you like it or not. And if you're going to be their friend, you're going to do as they want. Okay? And that's all there is to it. Oh, they'll pretend that they want to compromise with you or work with you and stuff, but in reality, they get bothered by things that the opinions are different. So they're out there telling the public that you got to learn how to get along, to agree to disagree, but they won't practice that themselves. They want you to practice it, but they don't have to practice it because they're not about to change any thoughts about themselves because they already know they don't got no thoughts. Now you think about that. That's an ego-driven person who's a control freak. And believe me, I've run into this more than once. And it's actually sickening. It's pathetic. It really is. Because they wouldn't like it done unto them. They really wouldn't. But I've seen this and I've witnessed this, Even Jeff C., he's got a high ego. And he's a content producer and he's worked with other people on YouTube. And they were doing things together. And then the feuding was on, the fight was on. And then they didn't work together no more. They hated each other. You've watched TFL through the years, different people come along. And then the fight was on, didn't you? Yeah. See, that's why I said at the beginning of this that I'm not excused from this myself. But because I've been through this, witnessed it, and had it happen with my own self and other people, I do recognize it. Okay? So I figured, okay, it should be talked about. It should be because the situation is grave because in society, we have people from the top to the bottom who want to control other people. In the family home, nobodies. I mean, they're not a politician, they're not a cop, they're not a nobody. They're like me, they're a nobody. Okay? But you find this all the time, and you find it with women and men both. It's not a gender issue. And I like to call these people control freaks. They're with somebody and they're in a relationship. They want to control the relationship. They want to be the one that wears the pants in the family. Yeah, they want a slave. That's really what that comes down to. And then the other thing is this, when you're doing videos, and even if you got somebody that really ain't doing videos and somebody comes along and starts telling you how to do your video, I've had this happen to me too. That you're not doing it properly. You're supposed to be wearing this fancy suit or whatever that they see on TV set. So their perception is from a TV set and a news reporter or whatever. That you should be dressed better and your appearance should be better and your background should be better. Believe me, I've had this happen already. Okay. Then you get other people that come up and they don't agree with your opinion, or they think you should speak a certain way, or you should say something certain, or you shouldn't talk about this, or you shouldn't talk about that. And they have it all worked out in their pea little brain as they're trying to tell somebody else how to behave and how to do a video. And it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, okay? Because they're not making videos themselves, but they're busy telling you how to do it. They don't like what you do. It's like a TV set. I don't know many people that turn on their TV and watch a program they don't like. But on the interwebs, we seem to come to the people we hate. And we watch them and attack them and watch them and attack them, and we become addicted with them, don't we? Don't we see this? Yeah, we do. We watch this happen quite often, don't we? Yeah. And on the interweb here, you can be whoever you want to be, can't you? You can be a guy flying a girl's picture with a girl's name and telling everybody you're a female when you're a male and laughing because you're deceiving people. On the interwebs here, the majority of the people are cowards and fraudulent and fake. And I hate to say that, but they are. And this is one of the reasons I brought up what I brought up. Just like with the war on evil. NWO, you're a truther. You're speaking against the corruption in society. From the false flags to the wars going on. You're literally in a war of evil versus good. And no lie, that's really what it is. It's a war of evil versus good. And if you're calling yourself good and you're not evil and you want to be on the good side fighting against NWO, then you have to recognize you're in a war of evil versus good, and you got to recognize right from wrong. And you've got to be able to be responsible enough to recognize right from wrong, not be anticipating wrong yourself, okay? not come up and do an Alex Jones and give 70% of truth, or an Ole Demigard or a Jason Goodman, doesn't matter, and give 70-80% of truth and 20% of propaganda, BS, and lies. Because this is what we got going on all the time. From our shills and every these people at Eagle calling themselves the truth are saying they're for real and they're honest and they're real and who they are, and they're coming up here and doing the exact same thing that the shills are themselves. They're telling you a whole bunch of truth and then they're telling you deception at the same time because they've got a flated up ego. Okay, or they're willing to go to extremes and do things, okay, that if they were a really honest person who cared, was recognizing right from wrong, they wouldn't do. But if they're not recognizing right from wrong or don't care about right from wrong, then they will make up excuses to justify their wrong behavior. Okay? And they will go out and attack or do something onto somebody they perceive to be part of the corruption, thinking we've got to teach these idiots a lesson, and they will promote violence. They will do things that really skews them and puts them in the same shoes that the people they're speaking out against are in. So now they're a waste of time to speak out against corruption because they are part of the problem. And how can I say that? Because it's so true. You know, when it comes to what's really going on, it is a war of evil versus good. And for good to ever win, they have to fight against all forms of evil. So if you're a truther and you're saying that you're righteous and you want to do what's right, then, you know, even high impact flicks, I'm so impressed because the man recently has been saying what I've been saying for years. And he's put it in your face and saying it and saying it. And yesterday he did a really good video, even though I suspect the guy's a shill, okay? Yeah, I could be wrong, but I suspect he is. But I'll tell you what, I'll never take some of his work away from him. And the words he said yesterday, what he calls the golden rule, I'm 100% on board with him. 100% on board with him on that. I've been saying it for years. Do unto as you want done unto yourself. Do not do unto somebody what you do not want done unto yourself. I've been saying this for so long. But the majority of people out here, that goes in one ear, out the other ear, down the street. You don't care about that. You disregard that. You will gladly do unto somebody what you don't want done unto yourself. For a pitiful, sick ass feeling that you get in your gut making you feel above somebody else, better than somebody else, when you're not. When you're not. You will lower yourself to that level. I've seen it so many times. You know, and it's not the first time recently, you know. When I did the video on, okay, Eagle, I was never attacking anybody. They didn't even have any specific name on mind. No lie. That was fact. I wasn't really thinking of anything specifically as far as people because there's so many people that run on Eagle. I have met so many people who run on Eagle. The only problem I've ever had with people who run on Eagle is when it goes to their head or when they get a position on a job. And seeing most of my experiences was real life experiences. Working on a job that I experienced this crap. Okay? And I do experience it online, but you know, but I was around long before the internet was around. I sure was. At my age, I was here long before the internet come around. And I had already experienced people with ego many times before the internet come around. And I think back on my life experiences, personal life experiences, and then I look online and I see the same thing. Well, of course you do. How would you not? Who do you think's on your online? Other human beings, just like myself, just like you. What do you think when you seen all these people run on an ego on your real life before the internet that somehow they won't be online? What are you kidding yourselves? So, of course you see them online. And then the fraudulent people, the fake truthers, they're here for fame or they're here for money. That's all they care about. The only thing they want is pretend fame or money. It's one or the other. It's the two or pretend fame. You don't get too many people that are 100% real across the board that don't give a shit about money. And that starts with actually having care. And people love the confusion, just like with the dating arena. The majority of the truthers won't touch the dating arena, and they have their cop out excuses. It's too personal for them, okay? Or it's not really going on, or it's the men's own fault. And you notice how that fits into mainstream media's male bashing? Have you ever paid attention to that? All the male bashing that goes on in media, 365 days a year, every time you turn on your TV, guaranteed you're going to find male bashing on that day if you're watching that TV. And did you ever notice here online, out of the truthers, the so-called truther community, how many truthers will speak of both sides? Both sides of the war on evil. Not many. There's a few of us, but there's not many. The majority of so-called truthers won't touch the other side. They somehow think this war on evil that they can play selective. Hell, I'm going to fight this evil and that evil. And that one over there, oh, no, I'm not touching that evil. I'm staying away from that evil. Yeah. Now, I can still beat him. Yeah. I can still beat the evil by fighting this. I don't care about that evil over there. Which is this mentality of, let's just picture this. Here's the mentality that comes with that thinking, okay? Since truth is a buffet line to this party that calls himself the truther, that fighting the war is also a buffet line, okay? So let's just figure this out. Let's give you an example. You're a truther who thinks this way, okay? The United States is being invaded. That's right. From three sides of the United States, we have foreign troops coming in and taking over towns and cities, invading us. It's the war, right? But they're not in your state yet, right? So you don't care about that. As long as they're not in your state or it's not affecting you, okay, that's these people's problem over here. It's not mine. That's the mentality. Truthers who think that truth and a war on evil, you can select out what you want to fight and blow off the rest. That is your mentality. Your mentality is as long as the war ain't going on in your state or your city or your town, you can excuse it and look the other way and fight the other fight. That's nowhere near you. I guess maybe it makes you feel safer that way. Maybe that's your safe place, huh? Now I know that's crude to say that way, but in reality, isn't that the way it is? Because look at the reality. You can see male bashing around the clock, which is evil as evil comes. And then you excuse that behavior. You make up cop-outs that you pulled out your anal to justify that behavior when there is no justification for it, okay? No legit caring person who recognizes right from wrong would agree with that. They clearly know it's wrong. But what do we see in the truther community when it comes to talking about millions of men all over the world that are being shit on by evil thanks to social engineering, which is part of NWO? You know, that war you're pretending to fight? Pretending. Because you've played salad bar selective, you've made buffet line out of it. You've turned it into a buffet line to select out the only parts you want to touch. And you see nothing wrong with that behavior, huh? I see something wrong with that behavior. I see somebody who will never win the war, who will always talk big, who will always say how they can when they can't. It's not possible. It's impossible. Because they're leaving evil in place and only selecting what evil they want to take out. You know, so if you had weeds growing in your garden or in your farmer had weeds taking over his field that was going to kill off his crop, well, I'll fight off these weeds over here and these ones over there. I don't care about the others. And then he's wondering why he lost half of his crop, huh? Same mentality. You know, and I know I'm saying things that ain't going to make me too popular with some of you frauds, but I don't care. I just really don't care. Honestly, I don't. Because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. And I'm going to say it how it is. So, yeah, it's hard when you're fighting evil because so many people are so corrupt themselves and will never admit to it. Even if they have good intentions, if they're running on ego, they're going to wind up becoming corrupt. And I've seen this so many times, and that's probably what makes the recent situation sad. But I've saw that coming for quite a while now. I really did. No puns intended, but what happened between Jerry and I recently, I saw that coming. Probably about 6 months ago. I knew this was coming. I saw it, okay? I recognized it, and there wasn't a damn thing I could do about it. A lot of it was ego inflated, okay, that caused the problems we had. And of course, just like always, it happens behind the scenes because they're not going to do it in the public's eye. You know. And there's nothing I can say about that other than it's probably best off this way because I don't want to work with somebody who's ego inflated that's becoming corrupt and becoming part of the people that we're fighting against. And that they're too naive to see that's what they're doing. They've convinced themselves they're not, and they'll never own up to it in a million years. Well, they are. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. I've lived it. And I watched it. And I'm not fraudulent. I'm not fake. And I'm real. And even when they claim to be real, they're actually, these people like this ain't. They're not real. They want to say they are, but they're not. Because real means you would recognize right from wrong. Real means you would do unto one as you want done unto yourself. Real means you wouldn't dictate somebody else's video and attack them for making a video or with an opinion that you disagreed with when you called them your friend. Okay, that's what real would mean. Okay? And then when they attack back without calling your name out because you attacked them first, then there's a problem because, see, they're supposed to bend over and take it. They're not supposed to attack back or say anything back to. Do you understand? That's how that works, right? Because they already know they're above you. They're better than you. And I've witnessed this so many times, you know, and it's even like Jeff C. would tell you the same thing. He's got a high ego, but he's worked with other people with ego, and You see what happened with the video content producers on YouTube when they work together. I think a lot of people have already seen that. You know. Now I may have a low count on this live stream, and I really don't care. It's the middle of the week. A lot of people are at work. You know, and I know it'll be archived later on so people can see it. And they can leave their comments then, if they got any comments. Sometimes when I talk about real truth like this, I don't get shit for comments from people because they know. They know already what I'm saying is correct, and they really have nothing they can say about it because they know it's correct. To dispute it, they'd look like an idiot, so they just shut their mouth. And that's most of the time what happens when you are hitting real hardcore truth that people don't want to talk about. You know, that taboo subject, keep it quiet, keep it hidden, bury it in the closet. Let nobody see it, let nobody hear it. That's what the dating scene's been for years. Taboo topic, isn't it? Yeah. The behaviors are right there. You know, I've always fought both ends, and this is the thing that always hits me, is the fact that so many people are so brainwashed by the system, by social engineering. And so many so-called producers, content producers that tell truth, will not go here whatsoever. They will go right along with mainstream propaganda, even when they're speaking up against everything else, and they will turn their back to it. The ones that come up and go against it are the people who've lived it. And then you have a percentage of people who are living it that won't speak up against it because they're afraid of being attacked by you clowns that see it, know what's going on, and turn your back to it. And try to use shaming tactics to shut them up. Yep, that's right. If I use shaming tactics, then I can shut that person up from speaking the truth against a female. That's right. That truth angers me. You know, it's sad. It really is. It's sad because it shouldn't be this way. These people claim they're fighting against NWO or evil when they're actually playing buffet line and selecting out, and they see nothing wrong with that. They see nothing wrong with leaving evil in place while they're fighting evil because they think they can beat these people by leaving half the evil in place. It's like the farmer leaving half the weeds in place in his field to overtake it. You know, and they wonder why he lost half his crop. It's the same thing. They can't figure out why they lost half their crop, right? Well, this is what you're doing here. You can't figure out why you'll never win the war. It's because you're not really fighting the war. Because you can't fight the war by ignoring. And I don't give a shit if you say it's personal or not. What do you think? The elite done it. You're damn right it's personal. What, do you think the elite and the social engineering wasn't going to be hit the family unit, destroy genders and divide genders? And yeah, that's very personal. But you're not going to fight that part of the war for that reason? I mean, I'm sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, people that way are cowards. They really are. They're so afraid of being ostracized by corruption. You know, when they tell me I'm going to run all the women off, I just say, look at them. Yeah, all the corrupt ones. The ones you wouldn't want to give the time of day to anyhow. That ain't a loss. The ones that heads are swelled up and inflated that are narcissists because you created them through you pampering them. Because it's putting them on a pedestal that created their narcissism to begin with. We have a world full of Dr. Frankensteins creating this shit. These women didn't become corrupt by themselves. They became corrupt because you helped them to become corrupt. You're great enablers. That's really what you are. You enable the problem. And then you turn your back to the problem because you're an enabler. You know, it's like when they told me I was a white knight for men. That was somehow supposed to be an insult. That wasn't an insult. You could call me a white knight for men all you wanted. That's because nobody stands up for men. You throw them under a bus. Look at the men, busy throwing each other under a bus every chance they get. And look at the women, standing together when the issue's hot. Making all of you men into complete dumbasses. Showing how they're actually more intelligent than you are. But of course, the TV told you they were more intelligent, so you want to live up to that, don't you? You want to be the complete dumbass that wants to live up to that. Excuse my language, but that's what that comes down to. And because I don't play favoritism towards either gender, and I recognize right from wrong, and I call wrong for wrong, no matter what gender it is, you all excuse me when I call it on a male, but the first time a female's corrupt and I call that out, oh, I'm a woman hater. And meanwhile, you hypocrites calling me woman haters are up there speaking out against Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi, and the last time I looked, they were both females. So I guess that would make you woman hater, right? Yeah, it would. It'd make you the very same thing you're calling me. See, that's how that works, you know. So what we're going to be witnessing here, or what we're already actually witnessing, even in the manosphere, incels filled full of hypocrites. They're all after the biggest victim status. They're not even real. They're after the biggest victim status. It's pathetic. And this is what we're going to see in the so-called truther community. We're going to see hypocrite wars. Other men calling themselves truther, attacking another truther for saying something or doing something, and then behind the scenes they're doing the very same thing they're calling somebody else out for. Like somehow they're above them. They're better than them. Somehow they're allowed to, and this other human being's not. Why do you think I gave my last video the name I gave it? That's right. Shut up, Bill. You don't have the First Amendment. You're not allowed to your opinion. That's right. I gave it that for a reason because that's really what took place. That's really what's been going on for a while. No lie. That's really what's been going on for a while in my life. And people wonder why suddenly there wasn't videos coming up with us anymore. Because that's what was taking place. I was being judged by the videos I was making. Because I've always spoke both sides and I'm not allowed to. I'm supposed to shut up. That's right. That's what's happening. I'm supposed to just shut the fuck up. Excuse my language. And bend over and take it. And follow my orders. And I have a problem with that because that's the same mentality the elite have. Yeah. I do. It's like when I said I wanted things equal. That's equal between the genders. Oh, that fires people up right away, doesn't it? I've been attacked many times by people for that. And I also got a lot of people who agree with me. Then you got, oh, it's already happening in society. Right here. See, they all have the same houses. They all be wearing the same house, the same clothes. No. That's not equal. That's somebody who don't want things equal. Making excuses for evil that's already happened and saying, see, they were all equal. They all have the same houses, same this, same that. No, that's not what I was ever talking about. You took what you believe equal is and shoved that into me and said that's what equal is, and that's not the equal I was talking about. The equal I'm talking about is laws and rights. Nothing more. That's all I was ever talking about between men and women. Women should have the same rights as men, and men should have the same rights as them. If a woman does a crime, she should be doing the same time that the man would be doing if he done the same crime. That's what I was talking about. I was never talking about they're all going to live in the same house, same type of houses. They're all going to wear the same clothes. They're all going to do this. They're all going to do that. Okay, but see, and it's not the first time I've had that attack thrown at me by people. Because when you say equal, there's a lot of people out there when you say you want things to be equal between men and women. There's a lot of people out there that attack you and say them very words to me. Okay? It's not the first time. Probably won't be the last time neither, I'm telling you. Because they don't understand what I want is to stop division. Division is what's keeping us divided. You can't stop division by believing somebody over the top of somebody else. No man belongs over a woman, and no woman belongs over a man. And I know I'm going to piss some people off again just making them statements, okay? Because you got women out here that believe, no, yes, they do belong above you. Or they'll lie to you and say that we're being suppressed by you, while they already have more rights than men do. And then you have the vaginas out here and say, well, women are being suppressed, and no, they don't have more rights than men. Well, that's because they clearly haven't done their homework. That's right. Oh, they'll claim they've done their homework when they haven't. They've done their homework and we have more rights than women. Then explain yourself. Please show us evidence of that. Because when you go to explain yourself and show us evidence of it, you won't be able to show us evidence of that. Because the only evidence you're going to find would be fraudulent. When you pull up the real laws, the real evidence, you're going to find out what I just said is true. Well, now I believe that. Because so many people fall for the social engineering. So when I said that, well, if we're going to stop division between the genders, both genders have to be equal, they do. You can't have another gender above another gender and expect good results from that. We're all human beings. But somehow in today's society, it equates to the woman's a human and the guy's somehow lower than a human. Maybe he's an alien. Okay, and then the feminist women saying, well, no, because we ain't got our, and the men got no. Well, the feminist women want superior, they want to be goddesses. They want to be superior to men. They want to be goddesses, and that's really what it is. And nobody has a right to be a goddess. That's like a guy saying he wants to be a god over the top of the women. He don't have that right. See, that's where it's come from when I say we need to be equal. To stop division, you've got to stop the freaking behaviors that are causing the problem to begin with. That's why I always say there's no man above a woman and there's no woman above a man. Our society creates the problem that we're living. And what are you going to do about that? Our society is actually the one that's creating that problem through social engineering. That's why I said you can't turn on a TV without finding male bashing. It doesn't matter. You'll never be able to turn on your TV and not find male bashing. You'll find male bashing 365 days a year if you turn on your TV 365 days a year. Would you find female shaming and bashing if you turn on your TV 365 days a year? No, you won't. You won't find female bashing going on. You'll find them pampering the women, furtherly making the women more narcissists, furtherly causing the entitlement issues. Can you imagine what it's like for the little girl growing up watching TV? She's seeing all this stuff going on, all the male bashing, all the male bashing, all the male shaming. This shapes her mind. And it's not that there isn't men out there, boys out there, as a girl grows up that don't do wrong, because there clearly is. The problem is when the girl does the wrong, she's excused for her behavior. She's not held accountable. She don't have to be accountable because she's a female. It's the guy that has to be accountable, not the girl. That's where that comes from. But you can't fight evil. You can't be in a war against evil and then think it's a buffet line and that you can select out the part of the war you want to fight and leave the rest go because you don't care about that. Why don't your farmers do that with weeds then? They're in a war against weeds, keeping the weeds from overrunning their field. Well, I'll select out this weed and that weed, and them are the ones I'll kill. I'll let the rest go. I wonder why they lost half their crop, huh? They're just trying to get the insects eating on their fruits and stuff. Well, I'll allow this insect to do it and that one to do it, and I'll take this one out and that one out. And that one can go ahead and eat them, and this one can't, and that one can. And wondered why they lost half to 3/4 of their fruits. It's the same thing. It really is. I mean, you're either fighting good against evil, you're either fighting against evil straight across the board, or you're part of the problem. And that was my issue. Well, that's always been my issue when I watch these phony fake truthers. Why do you think there's so many truthers to become hypocrites? And they really are. They become total hypocrites. And they see nothing wrong with being a hypocrite. You know, and they've already lost. They'll never win the war because they can't win the war. They're too weak to win the war. Even if they're acting tough. Doesn't matter how tough they act on that camera. Doesn't matter if they got the gonads to go up to somebody. Because one day somebody will hand them their ass on a silver platter. Because there's nobody tougher than everybody. Sorry. You got to get out of your delusion there because your delusion is going to get your ass knocked out. Okay, so you know. I will use two opposing statements in the same video. Yes. You know, well, you know, it's one of them things, man. You look around you. Look at what's really going on and look at behaviors. You know, it's like I told you, it's like I said earlier when this live stream first started. Opinions. Content producers and opinions. This is always seems to be the downfall because people don't know how to agree to disagree. Oh, they brag it, they talk it, they push it, and they tell others to, but they don't even practice it themselves. Because if one of them content producers has ego, their ego's going to overtake them, and they're not going to be able to agree to disagree. Because they already know everything. You know how that is, right? They already know they're right regardless, even if they're wrong. They can't be wrong. They don't make mistakes. Their ego says so. The only person who can be wrong would be you. Yep, and I have to judge you for whatever you do. If I'm your friend and I'm a content producer and you're a content producer and I have an ego, then I might have to judge you for what you do. And I may have to tell you when you make a video, you need to take that back down. I mean, there's just, you're wrong. You're just this, you're just that. And you don't got to do any looking into it. You don't got to allow them their own opinion. No, because you're a control freak too. You need to control their behavior. That's right. And then you wonder why content producers get into fights. It's because of this right there. Division. Your ego's swelled up. It inflated. You became like the people you speak out against. You're too dumb to see that you're acting like the very people you're speaking out against. You're not smart enough to figure out that's what you're doing. You play the other people for dumb. They're actually not dumb and they see right through your dumb ass, but you don't realize they see through you because you think they don't, because you think you're so smart. They see it in your body language, they see it in the way you act. You tell on yourself and don't even know you do. And I watch this all the time, man. You know, in real life, I've had this happen so many times. Somebody treats you for dumb. They know they're smarter than you. You know, I had a guy that was friends when I was with my ex, and we worked on the job together. And this guy was hitting on. He's married now, and he's hitting on every damn. We were working in a nursing home, and he's hitting on every damn freaking damn RN or fucking nurse or housekeeper that was female that he could hit on. He was trying to get them all in the sack, right? But of course, we were dumb. I was dumb. I wasn't to notice that. He would never cheat on his wife because he was faithful to her, he says. That's right. Set him up. Set him up. He was using my computer. We were standing somewhere else, and he was using one of my computers. And he was new to online, and I told him not to, certain things not to do, like giving out personal information, your real name. And if you give out your real name, don't give out personal information like the color of your vehicle, your license plate number, your personal address, unless you really know the person, this type of stuff. And so he kept playing us for dumb, that we didn't know that he was going to try to get a woman in the sack. And he kept telling us how he was so faithful to his wife and playing us for dumb and hitting on women right in front of us. And of course, we're stupid because he knows he's so smart, you know. And so we set him up. We sat at friend's house and we got on their computer and matter of fact, a friend of mine, female friend, she pretended she was her sister. She used her sister's name and she sent him an email. That's right. Says she met him in the chat that he was hanging out at. And he fell hook, line, and sinker for it. Within 3 days, she had his plate number, the description of his vehicle, his home address, where he worked. So then she set him up to meet. So you know what he did? He played hooky from his job. That's right. He skipped work while his wife was at work. He skipped work. And he went on down to meet her, man. And we all showed up down there. I remember that day. Well, we were with him. And we went in. We had him meeting us at a McDonald's. And he was going to McDonald's to meet Debbie. Okay, it was funnier now. So me and I'll give some names. Okay, me, my ex, and John and Amber all went to McDonald's to meet him. He didn't know he was coming there to meet us. He thought he was going there to meet Debbie. He was going to get his dick in a hole that day. Okay, so behind his wife's back, needless to say. So then, when he discovered we were there, Amber walked up to him and says, "Hi, Ike." He looked and, "What are you guys doing here?" And she says, "Oh, by the way, my name is Debbie." Oh my God, his face just dropped right off his fucking face. I'm telling you, man, you seen the expression on his face. He knew he'd been popped, but that was his own fault as far as I'm concerned, because he was the one that was so smart. We were all complete idiots. No lie, we were all complete idiots. Okay, according to him, we would never know because he treated us that way for months before we done this to him. We had one up on him. We took all of the emails he sent to us and we printed them. We had them all saved. And we told him, as a matter of fact, Amber was nice. She told him, "Come on back to my house, man. I'll fix you breakfast." And we went there and she fixed him a breakfast and everything and treated him all nice. And he hung out there for a few hours and he went back home. And the last thing we said to him is, "I wouldn't be telling your wife I wouldn't be flipping and lying and telling your wife something else because If you are pissed off at us because you didn't get to put your dick in a hole today, and we wasn't as stupid as you thought we was, and you go back and try to flip things around and lie to make trouble for us to bring your wife onto us, we're going to handle these letters. We've printed all your emails. He didn't believe us. He went back and did just exactly that. So that night, his wife comes rolling over there, and she jumped in my face, and she was screaming at the top of her lungs at me and yelling. And I says, "So then you know about the letter?" "I don't care about the letter," she says. So I says, "So then you know that he didn't go to work today." And about the time I said, "You know he didn't go to work today," he stood there and said, "Bill, how could you?" And then I says, "I told you if you did this, this is what was going to happen." And when I said that she didn't go to work today, she went, "He did what?" And she screamed. She was pissed off to the top tail. And she snagged them letters out of my hand. And he fucking ran. I mean, that fucking coward of a husband ran for the door and was headed for the hills. She ran over and grabbed the back of his pants and was yanking him back. And he got away from her and he went to climb out a window. That was funnier than that. Run over, open the window, was going to climb through the window. And she's got the back of his pants pulling him again. And then he gave up and they both went out the door and she's screaming at him all the way to the vehicle. Okay. See, but you know, I guess the moral of the story is we were stupid. He was smart because his ego told him so. He knew he was smarter than us. We all finally got tired of being played for dumb. That's right, by him because of his ego. See, this is not computer related. See, this is why I decided I should do a video on ego because this is what ego does for people. I was literally not talking about the person who basically came up and did a live stream and said goodbye to me. Nope, I really was not talking about him. But because he runs on ego and he makes assumptions, he already knew how right he was that I attacked him and that he's tired of being abused by me. Yep, he's tired of being abused by the truth. It hurts when you're abused by truth, huh? When you're a truther. Isn't that what that really comes down to? You've been wounded by truth, but you're a truther. Interesting. But I told you, I've seen this coming for quite a while now. It didn't surprise me any. It really didn't. And it's probably best that way. Because I can't work with somebody like that because they're fraudulent themselves. I'm as real as it gets. I'm not going to fight half the war. I'm not going to come up here and put on a show. And I'm not going to lie to you. Okay? And people with ego will lie to you. Oh, yes, they will. If you get some more views or if they have something that they want to gain from it, they'll lie to you in a heartbeat. And they'll tell you it was the truth, even if they know you can't prove it's not. They will deceive you. They will be dishonest. Okay? And it got to a point where I was having trouble even wanting to work with him. You know, and it was sad. I didn't want to see this happen, but I knew it was coming. I seen it coming 6 months ago after the man got a viral video. And within a couple of months from the time he had his viral video, I watched the changes. I literally seen the changes. And unfortunately, it was because of his ego. And I'll guarantee you, he didn't even know. Guaranteed, man, it ain't till he deliberately done this because he didn't. No, he did not deliberately do it. I will never accuse him of deliberately because he actually has good intentions, and I still like him. I don't hate him, not at all. Okay? But his road to good intentions are being skewed by his ego, and he don't even recognize it. I recognized it because I've lived my life long enough that I've seen it. I watched the changes in his behavior. I seen the stuff that he was doing, and I would catch him double speaking to me, speaking out both ends of his mouth, and I just wouldn't say nothing to him because that's what I've always done. I've always been that way. I just watched, and I knew that it was to a point to where I really didn't want to work with him anymore myself because I fight both ends of the war. I don't play selective buffet line. I don't run on you, okay? And I don't fight other people over their opinions. I don't try to control other people, okay? I don't have an issue with trying to control other people. I never have. I say how I feel and I let it go at that, okay? And that's it. I'm not going to come over and start harassing you because I don't agree with you. I'm not going to come up and attack you for making a video. I'll get a hold of you on a personal note behind the scenes and call you names or say this or say that because I don't agree with your opinion. I'm going to allow you your opinion. You can express your feelings to me, why you feel what you feel on your opinion, and that's it. I have to accept that. Even if I still disagree, I accept that and I don't use that personal against you. Okay? And that's one of the reasons I brought this video up today, or this live stream, because I'm not the only one, believe me. I've had this going on for years now, but I've also watched it happen so many times across the spectrum with other truthers who were working together, who had fallouts. And every last time they had a fallout, it was over opinions. It really was. Okay? And some of these truthers that had fallouts, you seem to always have one with running on Eagle. I don't know why, but you do. But the fact is we have thousands and thousands, if not millions and millions of people who run on Eagle. No lie. Who runs on Eagle. And I'm not going to fault anybody that runs on Eagle. I'm just going to say you have to check your own behaviors. And if you're not going to take any responsibility in recognizing right from wrong and checking your own behaviors, then you will become corrupt. And you will become like the people you're speaking against. And you're not too good. Nobody's too good to say, no, that won't happen to me. The person who says that will not happen to me because I'm too smart for that is the person it will happen to. Every last time. Because you have to be willing to check your own behaviors. And the best way to do that is to recognize right from wrong and to never do unto somebody that you would not want done unto yourself. And most people can't do that. So High Impact Flicks, his golden rule is what I've been saying for years. Do unto one as you want done unto yourself. No lie. I have high respect for High Impact Flicks because of the fact that he's made that statement. He's done it more than one video recently, and he did a video dedicated to just that yesterday. Very proud of the man for doing that because it's something I've been saying for years. I actually care about everybody, and I always have. And I only want what's right on to everybody. And that's what it's always been about to me. And I have problems working with people that don't share that. That's missing that care. Because care is not ego. Just like with pornography, people have confused love with sex and think sex is love when sex is not love. And care is not ego. When you care about people in general, straight across the board, that has nothing to do with ego. Never has. I have very low ego. And I have very high care. I have more care than most people in today's society even have. There's a few people out here like me that have not lost care. But unfortunately, we have a whole lot of people that don't have care. The only care they have is for themselves, for the majority, and some just for themselves and their surrounding family, and that's it. For others, they don't even care about their own damn family. They only care about themselves. Try caring about anybody, even if you don't know them. Try going out of your way to help a perfect stranger you never know because you care. And the only payment you're going to ask for is the gratification of seeing the smile on their face after you've helped them. I've done that my whole life. So when you have that kind of care, let me know. But I guess I'm going to get up on out of here. I think I've been here long enough. I've said what I had to say. It's sad. I don't like to see what took place, but it's probably best. But don't get me wrong, I don't dislike him, and I'm not attacking him. I'm just saying the way it is. Because I never talked about him when I did that video. I didn't even have him on my mind. Because I've experienced it so many times in my own life and seen it from so many people. I hope that the message would reach people with Eagle, including him, that he'd understand what I was saying. And that I wasn't talking about him. It wasn't a personal attack on him. But he took it as a personal attack on him, and he said that he's tired of being abused by me. So he was being abused by me speaking truth in my own video. And that's abuse to him. So if truth is abuse to him, then obviously he's not a truther, huh? Because he sure wasn't in my head to tell me I was thinking about him and that was directed at him. Because that wasn't so at all. It was never that way, ever. Because I've dealt with this my whole life and I've seen it so many times on job sites. What do you think I told you about the little dating thing that happened with the guy who thought we were all stupid and played the four of us for stupid because he ran on ego? His ego flated up, man. He knew he was smarter than us and that we were stupid. He knew he was. That's why we did to him what we did to him. And he became a jackass at the end. You know, and that one had nothing to do with being online, man. I'm telling you, this is real life experiences. So I talked about that for that reason. But I'm going to get on out of here. You all have a good one. Until the next time, anyhow, right?